Bakkt has been called many things by many different people. The savior of Bitcoin, a Trojan horse, a Wall Street takeover, a llama, a highly professional place for sophisticated investors to get exposure to a new and exciting asset class, all from the comfort of their private jet. But however Bakkt may be packaged, there is one thing that is for certain. We cannot trust Wall Street, and nothing, and I do mean nothing, gets more Wall Street than Bakkt. This is the child of the Intercontinental Exchange, which owns, of course, the New York Stock Exchange. Manipulation, fraud, deception, control. These are the ways of the dark side, Wall Street. Now, Bakkt's Bitcoin futures contracts were long anticipated to be a big lift to the crypto markets, but the very day that Bakkt launched, the price of Bitcoin went down from $10,000 to $8,500. Good market for bears, I suppose, but also very, very reminiscent of the CME launch that brought Bitcoin down from 20K to 14K, wicking all the way down to 10K in 5 days. But the weak debut of Bakkt aside, the volume has actually been picking up recently. Bakkt volume peaked at $15 million last week, currently down around 50% from that high at around $8 million today, which when compared to the CME, which is doing like $150 to $200 million, even hitting $1 billion in the peaks, it's leaving a lot to be desired from Bakkt. And of course, leaving a lot of profits on the table that Bakkt will be wanting to get a piece of. It really seems that their physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts didn't really stimulate the money of the jet-setting crowd, but maybe it was never supposed to. Maybe the physically settled Bitcoin futures were that Trojan horse, simply meant as a tool to gain traction with Bitcoiners in the wider community. Bakkt will be different, they said. These are not paper instruments, they said. Bakkt was a classic bait and switch because now it turns out that Bakkt will be launching cash-settled Bitcoin contracts, which of course is very, very funny because the name Bakkt implies that his products are, backed up by something. Or in other words, physically settled, which would have been a real contrast to the many cash-settled competitors which are out there. Bakkt says that the cash-settled Bitcoin contracts will draw their price, however, from Bakkt's physically settled Bitcoin contract index. So Bitcoin settled futures contracts are still going to be a thing for Bakkt. But we've got to keep it real. These cash-settled futures, these are paper Bitcoin. So they are not backed, as they say. It seems that the guys over at Bakkt were simply not happy sitting around playing second fiddle to the CME and watching them make all the money with their huge volume for their cash-settled futures markets. But we must note that they have obviously been planning these cash-settled futures for quite some time. Since just look at how quickly they were able to get all of this together. The applications for the cash-settled futures, they must have been done months ago, but announced now. Bakkt. Tricky guys. Now, the cash-settled monthly Bitcoin futures will be offered via ICE's Singapore-based clearinghouse, ICE Clear Singapore, and traded on the ICE Futures Singapore Exchange. The exchange is notably accessible to futures traders signed up to ICE anywhere in the world. I know I keep going back to this great quote from Kelly Loeffler, who's the CEO of Bakkt, but it's so very telling what she said a couple of months ago. She said, Bakkt Bitcoin futures contracts will not rely upon unregulated spot markets for settlement prices. Thus, they will be serving as a transparent price discovery mechanism for the benchmark price for Bitcoin. You know what she's saying, right? Essentially, she wants to see Bakkt be the number one price discovery mechanism for Bitcoin. She wants Wall Street to be in the driver's seat and to be dictating the price of Bitcoin. Looking at the effect that the CME has already had, I'm sure that backed cash futures will work even farther to tame Bitcoin going forward. Remember when one of the executives at the CME said they want to tame Bitcoin earlier this year, and it was, of course, then later revealed that the US government was pushing from behind to get the CME to get these futures contracts out in order to crash the price of Bitcoin. I mean, hey, talk about protecting the average investor. Crash the markets, watch them lose their money. Amazing stuff. Government for the win. Bakkt is not here for us, guys. Bakkt is a Wall Street tool, and Wall Street are tools themselves. They seek to control, they seek to manipulate. And that's just their futures contracts. Bakkt is also launching Bitcoin options contracts. Now, these are going to give Wall Street yet another tool to manipulate the markets. Yay! Manipulation. Seriously, the mix of these three instruments together create a powerful suite of tools that will give Wall Street a nice, clean little way to transfer Bitcoin from you to them. That is, of course, if you don't have strong hands. Then, of course, we have Bakkt Payments. This is their long-promised consumer app working with Starbucks and others, most famously Starbucks, though, which might do a bit for making crypto payments easier, but it's also not really anything to get super excited about. It'll be a custodial wallet service, and it'll almost certainly be all about that censorship, baby. And most importantly, serve as a tool for Bakkt to get more Bitcoin. Gobble, 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 gobble. All the Bitcoin going to Bakkt, all the Bitcoin to Wall Street. Because from what we know about the Bakkt app, it will allow you to pay for coffee at Starbucks with Bitcoin, but Starbucks isn't getting the Bitcoin, they're getting fiat. Bakkt will get the Bitcoin from that coffee purchase. Very clever. I see you, Bakkt. I see what you're doing. And finally, we have Bakkt Custody, which has officially been given the green light from the New York Department of Financial Services to offer Bitcoin custody for institutional clients. And not just for those who are trading the futures contracts. Anybody can house their Bitcoin with Bakkt, should you want to do that for some reason. And I know. Not your keys, not your coin, but these custody services are increasingly important for the big guys. I'm talking about the guys who are holding like 1,000 or 10,000 Bitcoin. Those guys, they're already playing the Wall Street game anyway. To trust someone like the Intercontinental Exchange with their Bitcoin, easy. It lessens their own personal risk in terms of safety and hijack or kidnapping and all that crazy stuff, so there's that. Currently also, Bakkt is delivering Bitcoin to their warehouse, not to their clients' wallets usually. But this is actually unsurprising to me because the clients who are playing the Bitcoin futures games, they want exposure to the asset. They don't actually want to necessarily buy and hold it in most cases anyway. Although it is possible to get your Bitcoin from Bakkt, most of their clients are going to have zero desire to actually do this. If they really wanted to buy Bitcoin, they'd call up an OTC desk, not get it from a futures contract. Remember, this product is not intended for the regular Joe Blow investor. This is intended for institutions. This is for big money, big baller players, high net worth individuals. Basically, club members, and that's not you and me. The fact that we don't have a public address posted up for Bakkt does not surprise me. It really doesn't. Bitcoin, it's a new commodity class, and of course the privacy for individual investors will be something that is also very important. The custody product, of course, puts Bakkt in the same league as Fidelity and Coinbase in terms of being institutional custodial players. But what Bakkt Custody really is, it's just their official vault for storing the Bitcoin, which they have taken from you and put in their own vault. Now, once that Bitcoin leaves your hand and goes over to Bakkt, it's gone. It's gone. I can really see a situation where people like Bakkt will be stacking as much Bitcoin as possible long term to try to create even more scarcity on the markets and to control the supply of Bitcoin and the release of Bitcoin onto the markets for maximum profits. To done with other things, this game has been played before. It's well documented. It will be played again, and they might be trying to do it with Bitcoin right now. Wall Street gobbling up Bitcoin to control the market, it makes sense, from that Wall Street perspective. I don't like it, but this is the Wall Street playbook. These are the games that you get when you invite Wall Street to the party. But as I watch Wall Street play its games, I remain unchanged in the long-term view of Bitcoin. And actually, to be honest, if Bitcoin is the crazy honey badger beast that we believe it to be, then Wall Street games won't actually have such a massive effect long term, assuming, of course, that Wall Street doesn't simply corner all of the supply of Bitcoin. Bitcoin never needed Wall Street. Bitcoin never needed Wall Street's money. Wall Street's not here for us. Wall Street is not our friend. Wall Street is the antithesis of what Bitcoin stands for. They're here to line their own pockets, which that in of itself is not a bad thing, because let's be honest, I mean, a lot of people come to crypto to line their pockets. That's cool. If you didn't come for the revolution, stay for the revolution, hopefully. But Bakkt's not here for the revolution. Oh, no. What makes Bakkt so dangerous is that Wall Street, they're so damn well funded and they're such pros at manipulation that it becomes a very dangerous game you don't want to be playing with Wall Street. Look, Bakkt is going to be super relevant, even if it's having a slow start. Like it or not, boatloads of capital will flow into Bakkt's Bitcoin futures products, both the Bitcoin settled variants and the cash settled varieties, and of course into the Bitcoin options contracts. And yeah, they're probably going to do a Bitcoin ETF at some point in the future. They haven't said anything, but watch this space. I'm sure we'll see it coming at some point. Bakkt is playing the long game, while most crypto tourists are only here to get rich overnight. That basically makes them perfect targets for Wall Street. The market operates as a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient over to the patient. Beware of Wall Street's games. Beware of Wall Street's deceptions. They want your Bitcoin. They built all of these lovely traps for you. They own the media. They've got the FUD. They've got it all together. Don't fall for their traps. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis, guys. You let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And just a quick moment to say, you guys are totally awesome. I love you all so much. I really, really appreciate the time that you come and take it out of your day to come here and check these videos out. I know I say it all the time, but I mean it every time. You guys are totally freaking awesome, so thank you so much. And I really do want to know, what do you think about Bakkt? You think they're trying to play a game to gobble up all the Bitcoin, or whatever? Bakkt. Psh. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy today's video, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.